Shalom. All praises due to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha Kwadash. Double honors to the elect Apostle, Bishop, Elder Zach Great Millstone, and Ruel. Shalom to elect Ak out there doing his work in sincerity and truth, and not for vainglory in season and out of season. Shalom to the elect men, women, sons, and daughters of the nation of Israel, which are the elect men, women, sons, and daughters of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans scattered through the four corners of the earth. All right, as mentioned in Isaiah, the 11th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. All right, this is from the Guardian. It says Harvard hired a researcher to uncover its ties to slavery. He says the results cost him his job. We found out many slaves. We found too many slaves. So I'm not going to read the article. You can read it, but goes to show you there's nothing here in America that hasn't been built by slaves. Okay. All right. And what slaves am I talking about? I'm talking about black man, black woman, okay, black sons and daughters, West Indian men, West Indian women, West Indian sons and daughters, so-called, okay, all right, Haitian men, Haitian women, Haitian sons and daughters, Native Americans, all right, which are the indigenous people of this land, okay, talking about the Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and the Mexican Indians, okay. So, they was building up Harvard. They was doing slave labor, and that's the prophecy, of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 68th verse. Okay, that he was going to come into Egypt, which means bondage, again with ships, which are those slave ships. Okay, so you can read the article. It's a pretty long article, but goes to show you, man. And you got so-called black men, black women. They want to make it to Harvard, and some of them might get in there. But hey, man, your people were slaves. To help build this damn school, man. This demonic, satanic school. Okay. All right. So I just want to bring that out. And I'll go to one scripture. We all know what the scripture is. All right. We all know what the scripture is. Okay. Revelation 13 chapter 10 verse, which is going to happen, by the way, and if any man have an ear, let him hear. Meaning, if you have the understanding, he that leadeth into captivity, okay, the so-called white man led us in so-called black men, women, sons and daughters, West Indian Haitians, all right, into hardcore bondage, okay, and the hardcore slavery, even of building up the prestigious Harvard University, okay. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Okay, so-called white man, you're gonna go into captivity under the same people that you put in captivity. Okay, which would be you so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians. Okay. Also, the North American Indians and the Latinos, Hispanics, and so forth. But we specifically talking about so-called black people, man. All right. Okay. So he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword, what he did with the Native Americans. Okay. How you think they got this land? They did it through the sword, which is the gun. Okay. How you think they got Los Angeles, which belonged to Mexico, Texas, which belonged to Mexico, Arizona, which belongs to Mexico? He killed with the sword, with the gun. All right. It says, must be killed with the sword. So that's why that prophecy, and it tells you that, what is it? Psalms 149th. Hold on, let me see if I can get that right quick. Okay. Psalms 149th. All right. If I'm not mistaken. All right. Psalms 149, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to go. Well, it says, Psalms 149, praise ye Yahweh, sing unto Yahweh a new song, and his praise in the congregation of saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. So it's telling you who the saints are. You put two and two together, and it says saints, and then it says let Israel. So everybody is not a saint, man. Okay? Only the Israelites are the saints. Only the Israelites are Zion. Okay? Which the word Zion in the Hebrew is Zion, which means monument. You build a monument to never forget. So the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, hasn't forgotten his people, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, Mexican Indians, all the 12 tribes, okay? All right? Of the nation of Israel, okay? All right? So-called white man is not a saint, neither, or all the other heathen nations, they're not saints, all right? Only Israelites, okay? Okay, it says, let me go to it. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people. His, all right? Not every people on the planet Earth, all right? His people is a nation of Israel. He will beautify the meek with salvation. That's right. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds, meaning Israelites, you so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Yo, man, you're going to be in the kingdom, being served by the so-called white man and all the other heathen nations. That's what that's talking about. Now, here's the point I wanted to get to. 6th verse. Let the high praises of the power be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand. See, that's why the scriptures say, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So every Israelite man is going to have a two-edged sword in his hand. Why? It says, to execute vengeance upon the heathen. That's right. Like the so-called white man, like the scriptures say, he don't bear the sword in vain. Now we know the sword is, when that scripture is talking about an actual gun. And you see what's happening. You so-called Negroes, Latinos and Native Americans getting gunned down. Especially the so-called black man, and a black woman. Okay? All right? The head tribe, Yahweh in the Hebrew, in the English, Judah. Okay? To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. Okay? To bind their kings with chains, their nobles with fetters of iron. To execute upon them the judgment written. What's the judgment written? Inside this Bible. All right? This honor have all his saints, which are the Israelites, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, Hispanics, so forth. Praise ye Yahweh. So there you go. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. All right. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to bring that out, you know. So I hope you've been edified. And with that, shalom.